Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
This week's topic, we are going to talk about the TikTok ban. This is episode 126. Hey guys, welcome back. So I have a guest with me this week, mainly because we wanted to talk about the TikTok ban, and I really don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I know my better half, my wife, my partner, Erin here.
Hi.
I know she has a lot more to say than I do, and I've been wanting to do a joint episode for a while anyway, just, always working on trying to make things better and do different stuff for the Blodge Show. So, I don't know if those of you out there, I mean, I'm sure you do, you probably heard about all the crap going on with the political scene and the TikTok ban and them thinking it's going to drive people back to Facebook or whatever. Even though, I know me personally, I know we have that lady we follow, Cheryl, I think. The redhead that, I think her name's Cheryl. But,
What are you talking about?
on Facebook. About, people posted about like, well, I'm getting rid of my Facebook.
A lot of people are mass deleting.
But then other people are trying to say like, oh no, people are gonna go back to Facebook. It's like,
Well, there's a reason. It's not a Facebook TikTok war. One of the main lobbyists for the TikTok ban was Mark Zuckerberg. He's been gunning for this ban for years because his company, when he started Facebook back in 2015, one of his unpaid interns left and started TikTok.
Yeah.
So he basically, that guy learned what he needed to learn from Facebook, took it and made it a better product, which is a better app, and that's his main competitor. And he hasn't made any money off of it. So his hope and what he's been saying to people, because this is all about money. They're telling us, the Congress and everybody's saying that it's about national security. It's not. It's about money. It's about the fact that Facebook makes money off of us, and as long as the government knows that it's an American company that's making that money, that's the source of taking our stuff, they're cool with it. But the fact is, the parent company of TikTok is Chinese based. Therefore, it's not about the fact that our data is going there. It's the fact that they're making money off of our data. The Chinese government is making money off of our data. And that's where we're having a problem. And Mark is trying to make... He basically promised the Congress back in March, the House, by saying, hey, if you support this ban, if you make it happen, everybody's going to come back to Facebook and Instagram, because Meta owns as you know, Facebook, Instagram, all the things.
Yeah.
And the problem is Congress, through insider trading and all that crap, they have money. They're stockholders in Meta.
Yeah.
And therefore, if they have all these people, they get money, stock goes up. But stock is going down because people are saying, F you, Mark, because we're tired of it. And it's becoming not even just a a protest, it's becoming a movement. Because not only are people leaving TikTok because they have to, they're leaving Facebook, and they're deleting Facebook, and they're deleting Instagram in, saying F you, but also saying, okay, I'm going to go to Red Note.
Yeah.
Because Red Note's actually owned by the Chinese government, and they're just saying, here, we want this app back, and this is the best way we can do it.
Ooh. Hell, I know you sent me that lady's profile the other day about collecting 30,000 signatures to try to create a people talk or something, right?
Her point was that she is someone who's studied the whole, part of it, and how we could take what we've learned off of TikTok and make our own app that would not only help with the community that you get from TikTok, but would also help with things like crowdfunding and other things like that, because TikTok is such a big thing where not only is it Amazon's pissed off because it's like it has the Amazon, it's like Amazon, whereas you can go to the TikTok shop and you can know that you can buy from this little shop in wherever the hell and get your stuff within 2 weeks, and it's it's pretty affordable and it's reputable, like you can track it. And Amazon's mad because that's part of their business.
Oh yeah.
And Facebook's mad because Facebook Messenger Marketplace.
Yeah.
I still don't trust that.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace has been known for a lot of people scamming and whatnot.
Well, that's the thing is the whole thing is, if you're talking about security issues, Facebook is the biggest, worst of them all, because in the 2010s, Facebook had the biggest data leak in human history. Like millions of people's data got sold and stolen from Facebook, which is why they became Meta, because they couldn't associate with the name anymore, because people were like, I don't trust you because you got rid of my data, you lost my data.
Yeah.
So all the ones in charge of things like that are pissed off. Bezos, Zuckerberg is in there, and it's all because TikTok is not just an app that people go and watch silly dance videos on anymore, or doing crazy challenges like those kids do, but it's actually it's a sense of community. You can find anybody out there that's going to be like you, and you can book talk. I don't know, I know I read the Crown of Thorns and Roses and Thorns, whatever. My sister got me onto it. It's a fantasy book. If you've not read it, it's a great book. It's a great series. It's not a child friendly book. I would definitely say it's more on the possibly smutty edge. It's not like smut book, but it does have parts of it that are like, oh, because it is a fantasy romance.
Yeah, but of course, not a paid advertisement, just a little recommendation.
No, just saying. The fact is, they got huge on TikTok. There's Book Talk, which is a whole part of TikTok, which just talks about books, and that there's a whole thing about that. They don't need any paid advertisements. There's a whole section of TikTok that's devoted to it, and people followed it, and then they got their group of people, and they went on to do like balls that are in honor of it, or like the book. There are people that have turned crocheting or hobbies that are just it's my hobby, but they make it into a TikTok about it, and they have a following for it.
Heck, I was able to actually register a business LLC on TikTok versus Facebook makes things really complicated.
So there's a reason why TikTok is as popular as it is. It's not just, it's just a social media app like Facebook. No, Facebook is like connecting with your friends from high school and maybe some college friends or family that you don't live in the same state as. But TikTok, literally your reach could be the world, and it's going to be a huge issue. There's I think the numbers I was seeing is their TikTok content creators the people who are making the actual goods
Man.
are contributing like $32 billion to our economy every year. And if we lose that, we will lose about $1 billion as soon as they cut TikTok off. And so just to say that it's just a silly little app that the kids are playing on is dismissive of the fact that it's actually like people have left their jobs, their 9-to-5s, to do content creation, aka or shop owning, like an LLC of their own, and they're making not only their money back, but they're making more than they did when they had that 9-to-5, and that's a whole lot of people.
A lot of entrepreneurs that are going to be put out of work.
Yeah, so a lot of people are going to, where do we go next?
I wonder if they could do that on the other one.
You can. It's the problem is, like, I just started RedNote today, and it's a language barrier. It's a
using an app that basically is not in English.
Well, it's Chinese based, so everything's in Mandarin, and literally, like, it takes a minute for you to adjust to, okay, I can't read this, to also like I'm just scrolling, and it's the same idea as TikTok. It's literally finding videos, and it's made for people to connect and see, like, kind of like what we have Pinterest for, to look at different hobbies and stuff. But people are there. Everything on RedNote right now is basically, oh my gosh, why are all these Americans here? Because it's like the #1 app that's been downloaded in the past 48 hours. It's got like 900,000 downloads. It is the #1. So if you look in your Play Store or Apple or whatever you have, RedNote is the big thing, and that's because everyone from TikTok is saying F you to the government and saying, I'm going to go directly to the source. I'm going to go to RedNote.
Yeah, because, I mean, I enjoy Facebook and I enjoy Instagram, but I actually like TikTok better.
Facebook stresses me out. Facebook, it feels like you have to, it's not just, I have an opinion and here it is. You have to defend it, and people will, like, scroll back and, like, get stuff from, like, years ago and bring it up to you. Like, during the whole presidential stuff, I kept getting hit with people because I would be posting a news report just to share what I read, and I would get all these people like, oh yeah, because Trump is the best, blah, 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 blah. Or you must like Trump because you're posting all this stuff. And I'm like, did you read the article? Because the article was not a pro-Trump article. It was very much not pro-Trump. But, I felt like it's kind of like high school. You have to defend everything. It's like, I didn't join Facebook to join a debate camp. I joined it to share some pictures.
Either that or you don't say anything wrong, and your account gets frozen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is Zuckerberg just announced now that they're going to stop doing the fact-checking crap, which they started 4 years ago when Trump went into office. They had to do the fact-checking, and now they're not doing that, and everyone's like, suspicious. That's a little weird. Like, I'm sorry, but this man lies as soon as he opens his mouth. I don't even think he knows what he's talking about half the time, Trump. And he's going to go into office soon. And so you're going to have a lot of spam. Just a lot of stuff. Because literally, the man talks, and I think he just talks. I don't think his brain is connected. I just think he just goes. And we're now taking away, they were talking about how Facebook has such a big outreach across the world, and it is actually, sadly, one of the biggest news sources for a lot of people in this country. And so a lot of people who are on TikTok right now, like Under the Dust News and a couple other independent journalist people who are trying to cover this stuff, they're saying, yes, we're leaving, we're going to leave TikTok because if it gets banned, and we're going to join YouTube, we're going to join RedNote, we're going to join, but we're going to stay on Instagram, even though we're against what he's doing, because we're trying to make sure that we can get the news out there still.
Yeah.
It's like,
without being censored.
Yeah, because it's like the fact of a big part of why I think America is so divided right now is because of our media and how we get it. And if we're getting it from Facebook and it's been censored in some way, which it normally is, and then you have nobody else to do the counter side of that, then how are we going to find out what the actual truth is?
And one of the things with Facebook that I've never been a fan of is, like, you'll get a random post that you do and it'll basically get blocked. and then
Or they
I'll
fact,
get.
they say they fact check you, but they don't.
It's not even like for me. It's not even like try to do like a political or anything. I would just a random post be like, oh, by the way, you didn't adhere to our guidelines, and so you've been Facebook jailed. And yet I'll get tagged in videos on Facebook that have like sexual content, and I'll report it, and I'll
And I just say that
and I get
that works. It's okay. Yeah.
and I'll get a message back saying like, oh, we don't, there's nothing wrong with that post. I'm like, but yet what's great about TikTok though is like the fact that I've had random videos get flagged there and get like muted or taken off or whatever, and of course I appeal it, and usually, at least with TikTok, it comes back like, oh yeah, you've been reinstated. Like, cool, this is really nice. Like,
I think the worst thing I've had to happen on my TikToks is I do a lot of lip sync videos, and so when there was issues with, I think when the Barbie movie came out, there was a spiel about what I think America's character, I can't remember her name in the movie, but she had this big long spiel about being a woman, and I did a video lip syncing to that, and the company, the recording company that actually did it actually boycotted letting any music on TikTok. So it was like everybody's like lip syncs or background noises had to be redone because you couldn't play the music anymore. So it's that, but it was one of those things where they gave you a flag and said, hey, this music, the guy who, you know, is the actual copyright of this said, no, you can't have it.
Man.
And it was actually made sense. It wasn't just, hey, you might have said this one thing or this reference to randomly saying I've gone on Facebook and reposted a meme from somebody else that was like a news meme or something, and I've gotten flagged and told, oh, we can't do that because it's not the truth. It's like, it's a meme? Like, what? Huh? I'm sorry.
And when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, try to do stuff to try to start making money on there, and I can't because, of course, like I've been flagged too many times over the past couple years or whatever with both of those, since they're both owned by Meta.
Same.
But like TikTok, you can go on there and pay like $5 for a promotion, and you can actually build followers. And
well, I mean, I started doing our doTERRA on that's why my name on TikTok is Wellness Fox, because I like foxes, and I was doing.
She likes wellness too.
I do, and we were doing the doTERRA for our COVID stuff, and so it was trying to do educational videos and also promoting to our other website for doTERRA, and there was no problems. Those videos are still on my page, and they haven't been muted, and you know everything was done per how they're supposed to. But yet, if you went on, like, we could do a Facebook Live, but there was just so much other crap, and like you could get the live for the moment, but then it was like
couldn't have certain music playing or whatever because you get flagged.
Yeah, and
or people would see your lips moving but wouldn't be able to hear us.
Well, the problem is a lot of the stuff that like TikTok is known for, the algorithm specifically, Mark Zuckerberg has tried to turn around and replicate. That's why Instagram Reels are the stupidest thing. I know you like them.
I enjoy the Reels.
They are basically TikToks that have been pushed over.
No, that's why I like the. I prefer TikTok over those, but I do like the Reels. But with Facebook and Instagram, you can't do the collaborations as much as easily.
You can't do duets. You can't. You can't. You fucking. Sorry, can I cuss on this? I just did.
Yeah, go for it. That's fine.
Well, too late. I just did. The fact is,
listener discretion advised.
My wife talks like a sailor. Well, I'm sorry. I've worked in kitchens for 20 years.
Fiery redhead.
Yep. Anyway, the fact is, if I go on Instagram and I get caught into like the doom scrolling of the reels, which happens at night when you're like in bed, you're just like, I'm trying to go to sleep. I am TikTok trained to, you know, double tap to like it and, you know, all this stuff. But if you double tap a reel, it takes away the music or takes away the sound. And unless you have your captions on, I have no idea what's going on in the fucking reel now. And so it's just annoying because then I'm going to spend the rest of the reel trying to turn the music back on so I can hear what the hell is happening. Because one of my boss's restaurants is on Insta, and they do stupid reels as advertisements for it, and I'm like, that's adorable. But then I go to TikTok, you know, to hit it twice, and then I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying.
This is on Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram.
So they should do it on TikTok.
They should. I've been told them that. But because the fear mongering that's going on right now about TikTok, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on there. Or, F it, I do want to be on there. Like, people are very divided. Because, like I said to them before, when they were putting up these reels for both the restaurant I work for, Mockingbird, but also for their other one, Too Fun, I was like, why don't you do TikTok? And they're like, oh, well, I know TikTok, it's a problem. And I'm like, but it's got 170. I've heard 3 different numbers. I've heard 160, I've heard 171, I've heard 181 million Americans are on this app. So I kind of feel like if we all did, like, even if you're on TikTok and you don't post anything, I feel like if we all emailed or if we all called our senators and said, let's stop this shit. Or, actually, I saw a TikTok today where the guy I can't remember his name. He's a comedian, and he was saying, we have the powers. Every single person emailed, one central thing, and we all got together and did a coup, as in, like, okay, on Wednesday, when you get this text word of, like, tropic, and at 2 o'clock, everybody stops. That means if you're on the road, you pull over the side of the road. The freeways are now empty. That means if you're at work, you just stop working. And you can't fire everybody if everybody stopped working. That means if you're at class, whatever, you just literally stop. And then at 4 o'clock, we pick back up. And then that's when you text your senators and say, hey, we stopped the world for 2 hours today. If you don't actually give us back TikTok, we'll stop it for a month and see what happens. So it's like, it's a joke, but in the actuality, if you think about the numbers of how many people are on TikTok, and if they actually got together and did a union of people, all different races, and that's the joy of TikTok, is you're getting not just, oh, I happen to go to college with so-and-so, or, oh, I know you because you're my mom's neighbor's best friend. But TikTok is completely random, and there's a guy on there who I adore, who's a young black guy he started doing basketball videos on TikTok. And then he started to do argument videos about laws. And he's got a huge following, and he's so well-spoken. And he goes, yeah, I literally don't know what I would have done, because this was not my plan. Like, I didn't go to school to be a lawyer or anything like that, but I just argued on TikTok, and I had this huge following, like millions and millions of people. So it's like the fact of, if we could just unite the people of TikTok, or even the supporters of TikTok. And I just wonder what we could do, because it feels like you're in a powerless situation. And I feel like a lot of Americans, especially right now, given the political crap, are feeling very powerless. I know I do. What about you?
And they, from what I can see, it's like they just want to get rid of TikTok, or they want to in control the American corporations, so that the government can
money. It's about money.
Because then they can get their hand in their pocket too.
Yeah, it's all about money. Basically, the thing is, if TikTok does not sell, okay, backwards, rewind. If you go back to TikTok, is an actual United States-based company in California. They have a brick and mortar. They have employees that are all Americans. But its parent company, Just Bite, is actually in China. And that's where the problem is. Because they're pulling it's a Chinese company. Okay, but it's not. It's an American company. Just like a lot of companies out here, like ABC Theaters, all those different things. If you actually Google, like, who actually owns this, you're going to find a lot of our big companies are actually owned by overseas people. Corporations. That's just how it works. But because somebody, Mark Zuckerberg, got his panties in a twist, it became a thing, and now it's about money. It's all about, they don't care about our data security. They don't care that China has access to it, because literally, we've been told for years that the currency of the future is our data. So, Christopher, your data is your currency. My data is my currency. But in respect to the fact, we're not like that important of a people. Like, we're not a star. We don't have millions of dollars. So it really doesn't matter what my data is. So in respect to the fact where it's not a big deal if Jing's, whatever in China has access to it or not. It's the fact that they don't get the fucking money from that transaction, and that's why they're upset. And that's why this is happening. And there's actually, thankfully, at least 3. Okay, this is where the technical stuff happened. Okay. Trump, back in 2020, actually first started the movement of let's do a ban because he wasn't happy with TikTok. And then he pulled off of it, and they actually put forth a ban through the House, but it didn't go anywhere. It died. And then they rewrote it and made it into the act that it is now.
Included in one of the bills, right?
No. The House one was just this. It was just about the... Let me pull up the actual name of the bill. But there's 2 parts to that story, because there's the House and the Senate. What is the TikTok ban bill? That's it. That's the extended TikTok bill. That's not the one I'm talking about. Yeah, because I remember back in early in Biden's thing that there was that you couldn't have TikTok on any government device.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So, what is it called? Terminate TikTok. Okay. Protecting American from Foreign Adversaries Controlled Applications Act. Say that one 3 times fast. So that one passed the House with like a 300 to something. So it was a pretty much everyone signed up for that one, and then it went to the Senate, and the Senate was like, I'm not touching that with a freaking I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yep.
So it went back to the House because that's how this works. They both have to sign off for it to become law.
Yep.
So then freaking House Speaker Johnson bundled it in with 4 other mandatory, like they were about the Ukraine, they were about aid for helping people for disaster relief, and so he bundled it with the TikTok ban. So they had to freaking okay it because it's about helping people in need.
Yeah.
And so now senators are saying, whoa, you shouldn't have bundled that. Oops. Which that's a whole nother diatribe about why they shouldn't be bundling these bills all together anyway. 2, that's where these 3 senators are now saying, hey, we're trying to extend it. Where they just wrote a bill in the Senate to extend the TikTok ban for 270 days. And if it actually goes through, that means that they're going to kick the can. The ban is still going to be in effect, but it will not go into effect on the 19th. They'll give us 9 more months for the Senate to actually look into everything. So it's not a Hail Mary save. It's not a take the ban off. It's a kick the can further down to see if the new Congress and AKA the new administration, Trump administration, can do anything different.
The Trumpstration.
Which is going to be a whole nother headache, but yeah.
So otherwise it could potentially disappear on the 19th though, right?
Well, what's happening is it's not, from what Just Bite has said, is it'll go dark. It will not be able to be downloaded on the App Store. It will not be able to update. So you might technically still be able to, but I guess India also banned TikTok a few years ago. And so they said when the ban went into effect, they just got out of service messages when they logged in. And then it went black. So it basically, not only the TikTok company, but there's a lot of behind the scenes parts to that monster that make it work, and those are not going to be working, like the App Store and the other things that actually make it happen to your phone. And that means even you can't do it on the online either. And so some people are saying, oh, well, I'm just going to switch to the VPN stuff. Like, I'm going to get a VPN that says I'm in Canada so I can still do TikTok. It's not going to work. It's not about a VPN.
I wondered about that though, because that shows you logged in from another country.
But
though.
It's not. That's what they're saying, is that wouldn't work.
I wonder how that works though.
Well, VPNs is a whole. I mean, from what I understand, it's like if you log into a VPN company that they're like, hey, I want to look at Korean Netflix or whatever, it'll log you in.
What it is actually is a certain sites you can't access
Yeah.
from America, and so
No,
it'll be
but
like
I just said that. But Netflix is worldwide, but the Netflix in Korea has a whole lot of different stuff than American.
Oh, gotcha.
And so some people, like a lot of the YouTubers that I've watched who talked about VPN stuff, let's say you really love this whatever movie that was on American Netflix forever, and then they kicked it off, but it's still available in Spain. So you use your VPN and you log into the Spain VPN, and then it says okay, and then it opens up the Netflix that's available in that country. What are you looking at?
It's coming downstairs.
Okay, so.
Pause.
So yeah, that part of the online discussion that's been on a lot of creators with TikTok has been what do we do, and a couple people have brought up let's go to different VPNs, and from what I've been told, that wouldn't work. To answer your question.
But yeah, and I think the idea of going on the actual Chinese version of TikTok is kind of funny,
fun.
actually.
I mean, I'm on there. I made a
Only
friend
problem
in
is
Korea.
like it's like looks like TikTok, but then you're
Well,
starting over, kind of.
Yeah, it is. I have 6,000. Let me pull up how many fucking followers.
It makes
I
me
have
wonder,
on
like,
TikTok.
so if we start trying to do,
Well, you can actually transfer stuff over there too. Okay.
start doing business on the
I
Chinese
have
talk.
6,600 followers right now on TikTok, and I have 3 followers on Rednote. But it's it's an interesting change.
Sorry about the brief pause there, y'all. We had our grandson came down, so it's like, oh, we're gonna pause for a sec, because otherwise, you guys would get a lot more interaction on this episode with like him wanting to get near the microphone and all that fun stuff. So,
Now I lost the piece.
but so yeah, it's like I know we were talking about earlier the reels on Instagram and Facebook is like
It's a really shitty attempt to make a version when you have access to the actual good quality product. It's like saying, hey, here's a Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
And it's from Dr. Pepper. It's a can, so it's the exact Dr. Pepper. When you open that can, you're going to know it's going to taste like Dr. Pepper. And then you go to a store that says, well, it's not. It's a mixture of it's 12
it's
billion
Dr.
flavors.
Thunder or
It's
whatever
not
it is.
even that. It's the fact of saying, like, we have the idea of the recipe of Dr. Pepper, but we're going to mix it up ourselves, and it could taste like it. It
Put
could
our
be
own
great.
little spin on it.
Yeah, so it's like the idea is this is a good product. TikTok making those shorts and making those things are great, but I can't do that, so I'm going to give you this crappy version instead. And
and I'm going to regulate the hell out of it too.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about that.
Beep.
If you mention this, then you're getting it muted.
And I just lost a puzzle piece.
Hmm.
Dang it. And it's black. Sorry, my thing is trying to calm down, and I have autoimmune issues, so I'm trying to work on my dexterity to keep that up, and that's doing Lego stuff, and I just lost a piece.
Not the... Just don't drop the whole thing. Cause
I didn't. It's on the side.
We suddenly hear a crash and we're like, shit! Damn
Then
it!
it's going to be, well, now I can't build it at all. And that is how we're going to turn this up.
Now we gotta do 1,000-piece pickup.
When I get up, it's going to be there. I was just hoping it was in my leg. Like, no.
But the thing with TikTok, it's like, I'm kind of half expecting it if it does ban and disappear on the 19th. And
Dun, dun, dun,
Zuckerberg thinking everybody's going to go back to Facebook.
And that's the thing, is right now, if you look at stock, his stock is going down because people are leaving. And it's not just...
It'll really go down, too.
And that's the other thing, is it's not just, oh, I have a TikTok, but I'm not going to log in. That what people are doing is they are outright
actually deleting
it. So if you're a person who has a lot of memories on your Facebook, like I've been on Facebook since like 2008. So I have a shit ton of the kids' memories and from various computers that I've saved all of our photos on. So if I was to leave...
different states, different whatever.
If I was going to leave Facebook, there's a way you can go into I watched a TikTok about this. There's a way you could go into your account information and actually download a copy of it for yourself, and then you could turn around and delete the thing. And it's not just deleting. Well, Instagram and Facebook are connected, like mine are. So if I post on one, it posts on the other. So that one you can easily, if you delete one, the other one will follow. But like Threads, I never even got on Threads. And Twitter, I don't have Twitter.
I'm on Threads, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And I guess it's connected
it's
connected to Instagram, so it's like if you...
Yeah, my problem is I keep seeing people like posting interesting things, and I see it on my Facebook or I see it on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I want to read that, because it's like they give you like half the sentence.
Yeah.
And then you click on it, and then it's like, please open your Threads app. And I'm like, no, I don't want to.
I get the random so-and-so that was following you on Instagram is now following you on Threads, and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Like Rob is on Threads because I think we all got a Threads, but we're all like, what do we do with it? And it's just, there's nothing to do.
It's weird too. I get some
Drinking.
So-and-so responded to your comment on Threads, but then it's not an actual like something that I commented. It's just a random. They just post, and people are like, "What comment? I didn't."
And that's the thing. It's just a way to get you over there. But yeah, so the whole point is people are deleting their stuff, and it's affecting his stock, because I'm seeing all day today content on TikTok of people pulling up a green screen of stock of Facebook, and it was in like the 600s, and now it's in the 5s, and it's going down because people are. It's not just people are being petty, but Americans are very petty. But
well, they love their TikTok.
Well, we're petty in the fact of look at the country as a whole. The fact is, what happened in the start of the country is we didn't like how things are going in England, so we came over here. Because we were like, oh, you want us to do it a certain way and do, have to be very puritanical and follow this belief, and nope, we're going to go over here. And we started a whole new country. And then, oh, we're going to have problems with you still, and you control our tea? Look what happened there, Boston. We throw the tea in the freaking harbor. And then we had a whole civil war. And then we have, we're not exactly a calm, non-petty country on a whole. And also, we're all riled up anyways because of all this political crap. And in respect to, like, Gen Z, our kids' generation, a lot of them have a lot of distrust for Facebook and corporate and legacy media, and they don't get their news from legacy media or Facebook anymore. They get it from TikTok or Snap.
Yeah. And
Snapchat is one of the only other apps that Mark Zuckerberg couldn't get his hands on. So again,
even though I've never really been a fan,
I don't understand Snap, but from what I've been told from the kids is that it's a conversation, but you're like, you can do it's like Google Chats.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's like you have a story, and the stories will disappear in 24 hours, and then you can have chats. And I was like, yeah, but I've been on there, and it's like, how do you chat with someone? Because it's not like Google Chats. You can actually, it's like a Google, like a chat. But
or like TikTok, you can scroll through the different for your page or whatever.
You can actually connect to people by following them, and then also like commenting and talking to them, or like having an actual DM. And like I have 6,000 people that I don't even know all people of them, but they like my humor, I guess. Or I'm cute. I don't know. It's the redhead.
And I've done the any of my trucker videos lately. I've been done the trucker hashtags, and I've actually been getting interactions with that. Like, oh my god, yeah.
Mass followings right now because TikTok is. It's the sinking ship syndrome.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is the other thing. Is someone was like, if it does go down on the 19th, we need to find that violin thing that they played on the Titanic when it was going down, and just play that as your background music for your last video on TikTok. Or we're just like, we're all sitting together, but the band played on it. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's the fact that there's a sense of community that you can't replicate with any other social media app. And I know that everyone that is not on TikTok that I've talked to, or they were not aware of the ban, they're like, oh, well, it's going to be, it's just an app. You're just going to be able to find a new one down the road. And I'm like, the problem is it's not.
Yeah.
It's been out there since 2015. it's survived a lot, but it's somehow the algorithm reaches you, and it feels like you're losing a huge community of people.
And
It's like, I know there's certain creators I follow, and I try to follow like daily, because they post silly stories about customer service stuff that are just silly stories. And
Yeah.
anywhere else, I'd be like, this is boring. But it's them talking to themselves, for crying out loud. But they do it in a way that's just okay, and it's not 7 seconds, but it's like 60. It's a minute long,
yeah.
and it captures your attention. So.
And one of the things I've noticed, a difference in like people commenting on like Facebook posts versus people commenting on TikTok. I've seen a lot more people that are like I guess the right word would be hateful
Yes.
comments on Facebook.
It's
Hell,
unregulated.
I read one earlier that was talking about of course somebody that's against Trump, and one of the comments basically, it was interesting because this guy had this one very long run-on sentence and a lot of misspellings, a lot of things I had to read and go, I think he's talking about or trying to say this. But yet on TikTok, even when I've had some videos, like I did one about a Swift making their parking space, a lot of comments, a lot of reactions. I had one person that tried to jump all over me or whatever, and but otherwise everyone else is all like, yeah, it happens all the time, people just set their brakes, whatever, and one person just basically like you've never done that, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know why you're getting your panties in a twist. I'm not,
Well, that's the other part that about this. Facebook is pulling back its fact finding, all that shit. They're also there's so much hate and bigotry that is already feeling like they're vindicated because Trump is now going to be in office, and he's just opened the door and said, yeah, go ahead, I don't care. He accepts you, air quotes, accepts you as you are. And part of that is the white supremacists and all these hate groups are now feeling emboldened to say that stuff, to not be filtered in with a normal polite discussion of, what, oh my gosh, this Swift has never been known for great trucking.
Yep.
Ever since you've been a trucker for what, 10 years?
13
years. So all I've ever heard about Swift is not good stuff.
Hell, one of their acronyms is for SWIFT is sure wish I finished training.
Yeah, so it's like the fact of it's not like it's not known.
Now, saying that, of course, like if you are a Swift driver, I know that I've heard of a lot of.
Every person is different.
Every company has great drivers. Not saying that all Swift is bad.
Exactly.
Just saying that
But it's the fact of you could have a polite conversation with someone and make a joke about Swift and have it be like, oh, it's a joke.
But it's like CRST. There's acronyms for that too. And I started with Sierra England, and they don't have the best reputation either. But it was like a means to get me in the door, and then I've since obviously moved on to bigger and better things. But
it's still the fact of we can't have that now. Like I'm a pastry chef, and it's only like 2% of women that are actual women chefs in America. That's sadly, it's just how it works. And yet I could walk into any kitchen and talk to someone, and we could have our jokes because it's a kitchen thing. Yeah. But on that same line, if I go on like Facebook and it's a chef only thing, I don't know if I'm on a lot of you're on a lot of trucking groups on Facebook. I'm on a lot of
I'm really not on that many.
Well, I'm on like a couple hospitality ones that talk about like hospitality life, like servers and that stuff. And it's like I don't know if I'm opening a can of worms with someone who's going to be volatile and attack me, or if it's going to be just
if it's somebody that thinks that all chefs should be male or something.
Yeah. Like it's a sexist thing. Like talking about because we were talking about rate of pay, and I was saying that I'm still hourly, which is stupid because I've worked there for 5 years and I am the pastry team, so it's like I should be salary. And they were like, well, pastry chef, because there's within the culinary world, there's obviously executive chefs, there's chef de cuisines, there's pastry chefs, but we all have specialties. Just like, in the trucking world, you guys have specialties too. Like you could be a normal, just basic trucker, but you can also get your different the things. So it's the same idea, but you could talk to someone who has all those different things on your license that you don't have, and they're not going to downgrade you because you haven't done it. I can get downgraded because, well, you're just a pastry chef and they don't understand what I do versus because I do bakery, I'm doing a science.
Yeah.
I have to, I literally have to follow the recipe to the T because it's science. Versus when you cook, you can be like, I just want to sprinkle a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and bam! And then you made a recipe, and there you go.
Yep.
So there is, in the chef world, there's a lot of asshole mentalities anyways, but it's with Facebook especially, and their discussions and their comments, it's like you never really know. And yeah, TikTok still has bad comments too.
Yeah, it's just not nearly as bad, but like I know with Facebook I tend to scroll lately, and I do a lot of I'm not going to comment.
Yeah,
I'm
if
just
you don't
gonna...
like it, you can just scroll. It's like literally they'll say that on the video, like if you don't like this, like we're making a video about this. If you don't like it, scroll up. I don't care.
When somebody's posting an anti-Trump thing, and then people are arguing on the Trump or arguing about Trump in the comments and saying things that technically, if you were to, it's one of those things. If you research, you know, if you believe something but you don't know for a fact, it's a really good idea to research it and try to, so you know the facts. Versus like people are just commenting like, you realize such and such, and I'm like thinking like, you realize that was implemented by Obama, not Trump.
The fact that all the laws that are in effect, well, now 2025, that's not true, but for the majority of Biden's term have been Trump laws. So everyone's like, oh, Biden's been bad for the economy, and yet turn around and, well, all the laws that you're talking about, the tax laws and all that stuff, were enacted by Trump, and they roll over, and that's how our government works. It's a simple. Did you take civics? Did you take 5th grade civics? Did you take high school civics about how the government works? It's not just, hey, I voted this guy and bam, on January 1st, everything that he does, it touches for 4 years, magically happens right then and there. No, he writes a law. It takes 2 to 3 years for that to freaking hit the pavement to start. So yeah, it's just, and I'm going to sneeze.
And then...
Okay.
Apologies. I couldn't pause fast enough.
What, they don't want to hear my Pikachu sneeze?
But it's like...
No love for Pikachu sneeze.
And part of as far as like circling back to the TikTok ban, them trying to get rid of TikTok is basically them trying to get rid of... It's almost like them trying to get rid of freedoms.
Well, it is, because the reason why it's at the Supreme Court is the Supreme Court is trying to decide if it's attacking our First Amendment rights.
Because it could be constitutional.
Well, they're saying it's our First Amendment rights as free speech. And part of the people who are against the TikTok ban, or against the TikTok ban going away, are saying that it's a corporation, it's a
money grab.
It's the Chinese, so they don't have First Amendment rights. But then TikTok is saying, actually, we have our business is here in California, so we do have First Amendment rights. And it's the 170 or whatever number we've made up to TikTok people who their rights are being infringed upon. So I'm going to say hashtag save the Pikachu sneeze, Chris. That's where you're tagging in your podcast. It's trending.
So, you guys have any thoughts on all this?
Are you on TikTok? Do you have a point of view on this?
So, I think I mentioned before, I know me on TikTok, at least for right now, until it goes away. You can find me at T and Trucker Chris. You can find Aaron at Wellness Fox, right?
Wellness Fox. I'm also on Red Note as Wellness Fox. I'm also on Facebook and Insta as, I believe, Faychild. And part of my problem is I was starting to actually pivot with my business and actually trying to do baking videos and stuff like that. Shorts on TikTok. I've just been trying to amass the equipment to do it till it looks right.
And I kind of wonder how that, like, if we switch our business stuff to the Chinese one, like, so what, we're going to start doing business with Chinese folks now?
Well, I already made a friend. I just started Red Note today, and I already have a friend in Korea.
Wonder if I, like, my digital marketing stuff, I put some of those up, be like, hey, guess what? I just made some sales.
Probably. Well, a lot of comments I've gotten on Red Note have been, oh, why are the Americans here?
Yeah. Why are you guys joining our app?
What's going on?
But if you guys have any thoughts or anything and you want to share, either
Thoughts,
you can
comments,
you can
critiques.
you can write, you can do a voice note, but email us at blogishowpodcast@gmail.com,
Bring your wife back. She's
or connect
fun.
with us on right now TikTok until it goes away, or I think I'm T and Trucker Chris on Insta and Facebook, and of course she already mentioned hers.
You're gonna be like, I'm gonna laugh if your first message is bring your wife back. She's fun.
But like trying something new, and if you have any thoughts on how you think this episode went, if you wanted to have more conversations like this, I wanted to have conversations with other people as well, but I think I have to get like an app or something to do recordings like that. But
Incoming. If you don't make a big deal about it.
so as we got a grandson in here, Sally, say hi. Say hi.
Say hello. Hi. You don't have to yell.
Yep, you just say hi normal.
Sorry if you're listening on earbuds. We need to have a toddler warning.
But again, if you liked what you heard tonight from this episode, if you want to hear more like this, because I'm totally cool with doing episodes like this, random conversations. Hell, I thought about.
Is it okay if I have a biscuit?
Yes. I made sweet potato biscuits and they have disappeared very quickly. So
They're very good.
I just think it's hilarious because it was like, oh, we've had these sweet potatoes since Thanksgiving. I'm gonna make some sweet potato biscuits.
Actually, while we were recording this episode, I actually thought about whether we should get Rob on the phone on speaker and ask his thoughts on the TikTok ban.
He's pissed off at his boss right now.
So it wouldn't work
He's
out.
going to be, I guess, he works at Lockheed and he's going to be applying for, I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know, I kind of just went, oh.
But yep, we'd love to know your thoughts on the TikTok ban.
Well,
and,
are you like my mom who had no freaking clue because she just listens to legacy media and just thought that it was just, stupid? Or are you more like our kids and me who are on the pulse of it? Allie, thoughts on TikTok ban? Go.
I walked up a hill.
She walked up a hill, so that's her thoughts on TikTok ban.
That's helpful. Dang it.
I doom scroll too much to think about TikTok.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, I get a lot of information.
Well, okay,
there.
are you going to be upset if TikTok goes away on the 19th? As a Gen Z,
Mama.
you're speaking for your whole generation right now.
Wait a second, honey. Why don't you look down the steps? As most of my information is either through YouTube, and that's meaning like news and stuff. It's either YouTube or it's TikTok, and TikTok normally tells me first, then I go to YouTube,
Oh yeah.
Which is valid.
which pretty much everybody updates hourly, especially on news areas. So
Yeah.
Sadly. But the legacy media doesn't because they don't get it. But...
And there's this thing called Red Note now.
Yeah,
Yep,
I know. I'm
That's
on
the
it.
Chinese version.
I've already got on it. I could help you.
I'm always the last person, and it's usually because I think about it and
I'm not
I
on
know
there yet
because you
either.
still haven't turned on your thingy.
Yeah, I know.
She can't help you translate though.
That's what Google Translate's for. Google Translate's probably seen the biggest bump right now because all of these people are going, I don't speak Mandarin.
But guys, it's all
So
about
funny.
this. It's why this segment is called Real Talk, because it's me, us keeping it real with you. It's not any BS or any lies or, obviously we try to keep politics and religion out of there as much as possible. But
Well, that doesn't work.
well, I mean, I know I've done it a little bit, but I still try not to go too much because I know we have extreme rights and extreme lefts, and so it's like, yeah, better to just
Well,
but
but if you want to have ears that listen to you, you sometimes
Yeah.
have to touch upon those hot spots just to at least be saying, I'm opening the discussion.
Yeah.
This is my point of view. What's yours? Not, and you can market it by saying, hey, this is a safe space. We're not going to be attacking each other. No disrespect. Blah 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 blah. This is my opinion. This is your opinion.
Yeah.
Let's go from there. Versus it's
well,
a
no,
free
with
for all.
anytime that any of the random episodes that I've done, as you guys are well aware, about a little bit of a political has been me keeping the neutral ground. Like, I'm not necessarily a Trump person,
Yeah.
but the way I approach it is that as a country, as a whole, we voted him in, and basically,
wow.
you know, it's one of those where like hopefully we made the right call. I'm not gonna say one like either way because you know all we can do is wait and see, and we only have ourselves to blame, whatever. But you know, it'll be interesting to see with the TikTok thing though.
Yeah.
So I haven't jumped on the app like my wife here yet. You know, as far as the new
The red note, or I think it's called Chi Chang Chong.
Ching Chang Chong Ching Chang
No,
Chong.
it's actually because one of the things on Red Note, because it's a Chinese app, literally says like, "Hey Americans, as you come to our app, could you please not call it Red Note, but actually call it its true name?" And I was like, "Well, we have to figure out how to say that first."
So call it China Talk.
Oh, I'll have to just a second. I have to figure out where I put it on my 5 billion pages here. So yeah, it's funny. A lot of the things on Red Note are TikTok refugees that are just transferring their TikTok and their saved TikToks to Red Note. So I have to figure out how to do that. 2 American TikTok refugees. Guys, as an Italian, I want to remind you that the hospitality of the Chinese people on this app is not random. They get that your government, the American one, is stripping a right from you, and they are disposed to welcome us here, but always remember to be respectful, just as they are. Don't ruin your reputation, even outside the Western zone. While this app is made by the Chinese, for the Chinese, always be respectful.
So again, any thoughts, questions, comments? Drop us a line.
Get to watch cat videos in Chinese.
Yeah. blogitshowpodcast@gmail.com or connect with us on the socials.
Yep.
But otherwise, as always, anybody who wants to support the show, go to blogitshowcom/support.
Do you have a Patreon yet?
I don't think it's exactly a Patreon. It's through my.
Well, if you do a Patreon, it's people. What I've watched on podcasts or heard on podcasts is if you follow me on Patreon, and that's where they can like send you donations, and it'd be like, hey, if you do like $5 Patreon, I'll tag you on the end of the episode. And I'm like, hey, thank you, Bob. You know, whatever.
So
that's what
it's one of those as we, you know,
grow. But
as we develop here at the Blodgett Show and stuff. But anybody that goes to the blogitshowcom/support, it gives you that option to do either as little as $1 per month or $1 one time, or whatever amount you want to donate to help support the show, because obviously anything is greatly appreciated, helps to, you know, make things a lot easier and, you know, pay the bills and whatnot. But I just want to take this moment to thank my wife here for joining me on the show tonight.
Hi.
As well as the grandson indirectly and the oldest indirectly, you know, because you guys got to hear them.
There's actually a thing on how to change Red Note to
Oh,
English.
sweet. So,
sorry.
So on that, the Chinese TikTok,
Red
Note, I guess there's now a YouTube.
Well, it's on Red Note itself of how to. It's a video because it's TikTok, but it's their version. So it's basically it's a person saying how to change your Red Note to English. The 30s to tell you how to change your Red Note to English. Ask me anything you want to know about. It's called XIAO. So Xiao. Zhong Shu. That's the actual name of it. Don't quote me on that. But that's my terrible Mandarin. I took Japanese, so I have at least an idea for Asian languages, but I am not current, and I have not heard that spoken yet, so I'm just saying that's what it looks like. The actual name of it is in Chinese versus... But I've heard it called Red Book, I've heard it called Red Note, and then this Chao Hong Shu. And they every video I've seen, if you decide to go onto this app instead of TikTok, everyone is saying that you need to say do your first post and say ni hao because you're talking to Chinese, not just Americans. And so it's very interesting because there's a guy on here who has been learning Chinese for 13 years, and he's like, okay, Americans, I get it. You're coming here. That's cool. But you need to say ni hao. And he actually wrote out ni how. That's how to say it. And then how to say, this is how to say your name, and this is how to say, so it's like, and also say shi, which it means thank you. So to still be respectful. So it's interesting. But nice to talk about this stuff, and Who knows? Maybe we'll do it again.
People will
soon.
jump on here in future episodes. But you know what I always say, guys, to close that all by all the episodes, keep pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it.
And stay spooky.
We only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as we continue to get back up, we haven't failed. And I know a lot of us around here, especially nowadays, are struggling in one way or another. So we got this, guys. So on that note, you guys have a great one, and we will talk to you on the next episode. Have a good one.
Bye.